Hello everybody and welcome back to the United Stand. Today we are joined with Fabrizio Romano. Fabrizio, thank you very much for joining us.
Oh, thank you as always.
Let's get into some stuff then. I mean, first of all, I want to start on Ten Hag and his future under INEOS and Sir Jim Ratcliffe. There's been a lot of rumours circulating about new managers being watched, whether Sir Jim has full faith in Erik Ten Hag. Obviously, the result against Fulham has kind of put a little bit of pressure on. But where do you think INEOS and Sir Jim are at with Ten Hag, and does he have job security right now?
Yeah, the conversations between INEOS, Sir Jim Ratcliffe and all the other people coming into the club have been very positive with Erik Ten Hag so far. So I think this is why also when he's speaking in public, in press conference, he's always confirming this positive feeling he has about INEOS. So all the exchanges have been very positive, also about the possibility to plan together for the summer transfer window, obviously waiting for the new director to come in as soon as possible. But Erik Ten Hag has been involved in these conversations and in a very positive way. Then, as we know, football is a results game. And so obviously from INEOS, they want to see an improvement. They don't want to see performances as the last one we saw against Fulham. So these months will be important, I think, in general, also for Erik Ten Hag to have some security in his job also on long term and not just on short term. So these months will be really, really important. But at the moment, he's been involved in all the conversations they're having for the future. So I think he still has very good chances to be the manager for next season.
That's good to hear. I mean, there has been a lot of managers linked to Manchester United. Do you know if the INEOS team are looking, like just in case, maybe they do decide to make a change? Are they looking at other managers yet, or are they just firmly kind of waiting on Ten Hag right now?
No, I think it's just all the media rumors we're having are just because obviously some agents are trying to offer their clients to Manchester United, as they're doing with all the other top clubs around the world. So it's something absolutely normal. So we can see many names, but at the moment, nothing is really concrete in terms of contacts with INEOS. INEOS are not speaking to any other manager at this point. They can appreciate some manager because obviously they're already into football since they did a very good job at Nice. And so they know many managers, but at the moment is not something concrete in terms of discussions or negotiations. So there could be appreciation for some managers, but at the moment there is nothing else, not even contacts, not even discussions about a potential future project. So we are not at that stage for INEOS with any other coach.
That is good to hear. But in terms of talking about the director of football and negotiations on that point, I mean, we know that Dan Ashworth will be coming to Manchester United. It's just when he will be coming. Have you got an update on how the negotiations are going with Newcastle, when Dan Ashworth would start? Because I heard yesterday it's very unlikely that he'd be in for the summer. I mean, what is the plan with him?
Yeah, it's difficult for the summer, but I'm sure that INEOS will still try till the end to make it happen. It's very complicated at the moment. We know that Newcastle started from something around £20 million for the Ashworth, so very difficult negotiation. Now, Man United are trying to keep it quiet on the media in the recent days because this is probably the best way to try to find a negotiation at the end of the negotiations with Newcastle. So the conversation is still ongoing. Man United will try till the end, but really till the end, to have the Ashworth available for the summer. Otherwise, they will wait till 2025, maybe January, because that could be also an option. But for sure, Manchester United will start this process with Omar Berrada. Then the Ashworth will be part of this structure. And then I will still keep an eye also on Jason Wilcox, because he's doing an excellent job at Southampton. He knows how it works at top clubs because he spent a long time at Manchester City, and is also very much appreciated by people at INEOS. So I'm sure that they're looking at different people to bring into the club, but for sure for Dan Ashworth, the conversation is still ongoing.
If Dan Ashworth isn't in for the summer, do you know if the plan would be to continue with Murto in that role until Dan Ashworth comes in?
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that because at the moment, Manchester United to enter into concrete discussions for the summer transfer window are still waiting. So this is why when we see many names in the media, I'm always saying be careful, because at the moment Manchester United have not decided yet who are the players they want. They can think about some position to cover. Obviously, this is something they discuss on a regular basis with the scouting department, with the manager. But before mentioning concrete top targets, concrete names, they want to make sure that the structure for the summer is 100% clear. And they've not started that process yet. I think it means that they still want to wait a bit more before knowing who is going to take care of the summer transfer window.
Yes, I think that makes sense on kind of all sides and how Manchester United have operated in previous windows. It would be good to have a structure there for this window so we can kind of go about in a bit more of an orderly fashion. But in terms of, we've heard of a lot about Sir Jim and INEOS having a bit of a clear out this summer of senior players trying to raise money for financial fair play. Is there any players that I think maybe are under threat of that and potentially could be leaving in the summer?
Yeah, I think it will be busy, honestly. We will see who's the director, but I think in general for Manchester United it's going to be a busy summer. Is the reality that for financial fair play, Manchester United have to consider some exits. So I think all the names, for example, of these players like Mason Greenwood, like Jadon Sancho, these positions and these player situations will be discussed at the end of the season. But in case Manchester United receives some permanent transfer proposal for these players, the feeling I have speaking to my sources is that Manchester United would be prepared to cash in on these players and then to reinvest that money on different players on different positions. Then there are also some other players, for example, like Sofian Amrabat, who could leave the club, and in that case, they have to replace them. There are other positions they want to cover. We know about the striker, but yesterday I was told that Manchester United are also exploring the left backs market, and so we have to see what's going to happen, especially with Malacia, who's been really unlucky with injuries. But Man United need to do something in that position, and already wanted to do something in that position last summer when they negotiated for Cucurella, and then they ended up signing Reguilon. So for sure it will be a busy one, and I think it means that many players could leave Manchester United.
And in terms of the centre backs, obviously we've been heavily linked to that position for the summer. You've said on the show yourself that we will be probably going for a centre back in the summer. Where does that leave, Maguire, Lindelof and Varane? I mean, Varane looks like his contract's not going to get extended. Could we assume that he's likely going to go? And then Maguire and Lindelof, could they also be in the shop window as well this summer?
Yeah, for Varane, I think it's quite clear that at the moment there is still no agreement on a new deal, and so there is a concrete chance for him to leave the club as a free agent and to try a new chapter elsewhere. So, in general, I think it's not linked to Maguire and Lindelof in this moment. For Maguire, Manchester United always had the same kind of position they had, for example, on Scott McTominay for midfielder last summer. In case they receive an important proposal, these players could be available again this summer. Otherwise, they're happy to keep them on the squad because they are still doing well when they are playing. So this is Manchester United position. But my feeling is that in any case, because of the situation of Rafa Varane and because of an internal discussion they had at the end of September, then beginning of October, also involving Erik ten Hag with the scouting department, in any case, Manchester United will go for a top centre back in the summer for an important player, and I will keep the names we are always mentioning here on the show. Players like Jean-Claire Todibo, really appreciated. Antonio Silva is another player they like. So there are some candidates. Then we have to wait for the new director to meet with the manager and decide in the next months who is the player they really want as top target. But the intention into the club is very clear and is to bring an important centre back in the summer, someone with some leadership, someone for present and future, because they need something in that position. And this is something they already decided even before INEOS decided to buy Manchester United.
Yeah, I think it's a big priority for us to go for that position. Another player that's kind of been talked about a lot recently is Antony, and I don't know if you can give us a little bit of clarity on this, but there was reports coming out yesterday that Manchester United would entertain offers for him in the summer, and then there's also reports coming out that Michael Olise is the only player so far that's been greenlit by INEOS, Ten Hag, and the scouting department. I mean, do these two coincide? I mean, what is the story on Antony and Michael Olise?
No, for Olise, for sure, he's a player appreciated by Manchester United. That's 100% guaranteed. It's about the scouting department. It's also quite easy situation because there is a release clause, and I think it's really unlikely for Crystal Palace to negotiate under that release clause. So probably the only way is to pay that money or maybe include players for a value worth that money. But Crystal Palace preference is always for money rather than swap deals. And so this is why for Olise, it's quite easy also to decide if you really want to attack the situation. And I think Manchester United for sure appreciate the player, but they've still not started the concrete process to sign the player. So it's still early stages, but he's a player they like, and it's the same for Chelsea, it's the same for other clubs in England. So I would keep that situation open, but I think Man United will be there for Olise. And for Antony, honestly, I would not be surprised if Manchester United decided to open their doors to any negotiation for Antony, but at the moment they are not in concrete negotiation with any club. There is nothing really serious. We had reports about Saudi clubs in January, but nothing happened really between Saudi clubs and Manchester United for Antony in the January transfer window. Let's see. In the summer, I think it's going to be tough in the summer transfer window to find a European club prepared to pay big money for Antony after the complicated season he's having. And when he had the possibility maybe to go back to Brazil at the end of December on loan, maybe to change his situation, he immediately said no. So we also have to see what the player wants to do, because Man United has always been the priority of Antony, and let's see what he wants to do in terms of summer move in case something happens. So I think it's too early at the moment for Antony to understand what's really going to happen for the summer transfer window.
Yeah, it will be one to watch for sure. And then you talked a little bit about a left back. Do we have any kind of profiling or any names of what type of left back Man United will be going for?
Not yet, but in some weeks I think yes, because something is moving around that. Then we have to wait and see what Man United will decide again with the director. So before mentioning names, I wanted to wait for that step. But their scouting department is traveling a lot in the recent months to keep close eye on left backs. And this is why I have a feeling that Manchester United really want to go strong on that position. They want to go, from what I'm hearing, for a young player, so someone who can bring some freshness in that position. Too many injuries there with Luke Shaw, with Malacia. So Luke Shaw remains an important player, but Malacia is not finding any space because of these injuries. So I think Manchester United will try to bring someone who can also give some different energy in that position. And I expect a young left back to join Manchester United in the summer.
That is exciting stuff. And then finally, striker position. We know that's a big priority for Manchester United in the summer. Obviously, Rasmus can't do it all on his own, but is there any sort of profile that Manchester United will go for? Will it be experienced striker, young striker, names like Xerxes have been going around, Sesko? Anything you can tell us on that?
Yeah, that is the crucial point, whether they want to go for an experienced striker or young striker. This is not decided yet. So all the names you see around now, these are players that obviously Manchester United know and track, but at the moment it's not something concrete in terms of negotiations, because Manchester United have still not decided what kind of profile they want to put next to Rasmus Højlund. They are really happy with Højlund, obviously, with his performances. They believe they signed one of the best strikers available on the market for that moment. Last summer was not easy to find a player on the market, and they're really happy with Rasmus. So they also want to sign a player who can be the perfect player to put next to Rasmus and not to create any problem to Højlund, because they believe he's going to be the future of the club. So this is going to be the crucial decision. But for example, I think the example of Mathys Tel at Bayern is perfect. We had 2 weeks of people speaking about Mathys Tel, and then at the end he's not even going to leave Bayern, and this is already very clear now, and it's still February. So many names now around, but Manchester United have not started a concrete process to bring in a new striker. For sure they will, because new number 9 is needed, but the profile of the player is still not clear. Let's see if it's going to be a young one like your Joshua Zirkzee, who is doing fantastic in Serie A, but he has different kind of skills. Zirkzee is a fantastic striker, but he's very good to link up with the squad. He's playing very good quality football, but at the moment he's not the kind of striker with that instinct for goals that maybe Manchester United are looking for, or maybe some experienced options like Ivan Toney is a player who will be in the market in the summer, and I will keep an eye on him in general, not just for Man United but also for other clubs, because he wants to move to a top club. So it's about Man United to decide who is the player they want, but for sure new number 9 will join in the summer.
Perfect. And then Casemiro to Saudi, there's a lot of rumours about that. Do you think Man United will move him on in the summer?
Yeah, it's a possibility. I think it's a possibility for Casemiro to leave. It's something that they will discuss in the next months. At the moment, it's not something guaranteed, because also on this one, we had a lot of reports similar to Antony, but then in January, no one arrived with concrete money for Casemiro to start a negotiation with Manchester United. So we are not at that stages, but the interest is there. It's similar to the Varane situation, I would say. Varane has always been of interest of Saudi clubs, already starting from last summer, but then was never really concrete or close in terms of negotiations. I think this could change for Casemiro, because there is serious interest from Saudi, but still waiting for a formal proposal.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Fabrizio. Great updates there as per usual. And I'm looking forward to this summer transfer window for Manchester United, and it'll be great to have you back on the show as well. So thank you for that.
Thank you. And see you soon. Thanks as always.
See you soon. See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, everyone, that was Fabrizio Romano talking all things Manchester United transfer news going into the summer. I thought we got some great updates there. I think the key thing that stands out to me is Manchester United going for a young left back, and Fabrizio Romano seemed pretty certain that Manchester United will go down that route. So who would you want to go for? I'm sure we'll hear some names in the coming months, but what is key here as well, which you could read between the lines with, is that Fabrizio Romano basically said that he doesn't think Sir Jim or INEOS want to go into this summer transfer window with John Murtough still as a sporting director. They will do everything they can to get Dan Ashworth in, and if they don't get Dan Ashworth in, I think you could see maybe Jason Wilcox leading that summer transfer window for Manchester United. Also, Erik ten Hag, despite what a lot of news is coming out, Fabrizio Romano is obviously top tier, and he says that INEOS and Sir Jim Ratcliffe are very on board with Ten Hag at the moment. They are not speaking to any other managers. So Nagelsmann, De Zerbi, even Tuchel, Mourinho, all them names that are flying about in the press. I think we need to put a lid on them for now, because Sir Jim and INEOS, the owners of Manchester United themselves, and Fabrizio Romano would know if they were having these conversations, they are not having conversations with any other manager. They are focused on Erik ten Hag, and that's probably why Erik ten Hag in his press conferences, like Romano said, feels still quite calm and relaxed, like Ben Jacobs said yesterday, because he feels as if he has the backing of Sir Jim and INEOS now. That might not be the case in the summer. They might decide to change it, but for now, they're getting behind the manager and they have faith and trust in him, and I feel like us as United fans need to do the same thing. It's going to be a dogfight till the end of the season. FA Cup, hopefully we'll still be in that, and also the most important thing, Champions League, so we can spend the money. I mean, a left back, an important centre back, Todibo or Antonio Silva, who would you want to go for? I think they're both top quality centre backs. I think Antonio Silva probably has maybe the higher ceiling for his age, but Todibo looks perfect for what Erik ten Hag would want and need. Looking at the striker situation, Ivan Toney, I mean, will Brentford be pulled into the relegation battle now with Everton? The points reduction being kind of decreased, so they're not quite near the relegation zone. I mean, anything could happen in terms of the striker department. Who would you want to go for to partner Rasmus Højlund? A lot of information there, and I think it was really good information as well. And the key thing will be, will INEOS manage to get Dan Ashworth in? And obviously as well, Anthony, that does look like something that could be addressed in the summer. It's just whether any teams will pay for him. I don't see it happening personally. Anthony clearly wants to stay at the club. Why wouldn't you? Like, Manchester United is the pinnacle. It's only going to be a downgrade wherever he goes, but will a club even come in for him? Get in the comments what you guys think, but great update, and I honestly can't wait for this summer transfer window. It's going to be absolutely huge. I hope Dan Ashworth is in for it. If not, my guess is I think it will be Jason Wilcox leading it. I think Murtough will be moved either to another position or will leave the club. That is my insight and literally just my opinion off it on reading between the lines there with Romano. But thank you everyone for watching. Make sure you hit a like on the video on your way out. Mark will be back with the 8 PM show later, so stay tuned for that. And also, we've got a huge game tomorrow against Nottingham Forest. And come on Ten Hag, come on United. Let's get the win, let's stay in this competition. But thanks for watching everyone. I will see you on the next one.